All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to talk about Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. Something Errol Spence Jr. said at the Terence Crawford fight. Pretty much, money talks, BS walks. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. Thank you to everybody that supports the channel. Make sure you hit the like button before the video gets going. Also, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the bell icon so that you can be notified of when we do more videos. All right, man. Terence Crawford. Some new numbers came out for Terence Crawford. And I do believe probably more reliable numbers, as it was a few days after the pay-per-view event that took place with Shawn Porter, almost a week after. And let me tell you, man, the numbers are a lot worse than what they were originally reported to be. The numbers were originally reported to be at about 190,000, and now the numbers that they say are more reliable is that they are approaching 130,000 pay-per-views for Terence Crawford versus Shawn Porter. So you better believe what Errol Spence Jr. said is going to hold true, which is that Terence Crawford is going to have to take something, is what he said. And basically what he's going to have to take something means he's going to have to take what I give him for this fight to take place, because Terence Crawford is just not proven that he is a pay-per-view fighter, that type of draw, for whatever reason it is. Now, there are a lot of boxing fans out there that are big fans of Terence Crawford, and I can understand why. He is an excellent, excellent fighter. In my opinion, he's the top pound-for-pound fighter in the world. In my opinion, in many people's opinion, he's the top fighter in the world, at the least a top 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Very, very fun to watch. His fights wind up in knockouts. Excellent. All of the above. A whole lot of people are very interested in him fighting Errol Spence Jr. All of the above, right? A lot of people say that they think that he can beat beat Errol Spence Jr. But here's the thing. Terence Crawford is being unreasonable. When Terence Crawford says that I'm going to fight him for 50-50, that is just based on the numbers that come out, that if that fight does not happen because Terence Crawford wants 50-50, that's on Terence Crawford. With the numbers at 130K, now the reason why I say there's a difference to me between 190K and 130K. At 190K, I was like, okay, man, look, dude, you do the dude wrong at 70-30, 60-40. See, that's what I would hope Terence Crawford take, was a 60-40. At 130, you literally are bringing in around the same numbers that Jermell Charlo is. I do believe Jermell and Jermall Charlo fought on a pay-per-view doubleheader in 2020, and they did somewhere around 120,000-130,000 pay-per-view buys. Now, there are going to be people that are going to come by the chat, and I appreciate what you're saying when you say, look, there are extenuating circumstances to why the fight didn't sell very well. There are a lot of older people. This is one of the things that Terence Crawford said about how he believed that he had gotten set up by Top Rank when they did the as far as the pay-per-view went, because they put him on an app, right? Well, they put him on an app, and therefore a lot of older folk that would want to watch the fight didn't buy the fight because they didn't know how to get the app on their television. So what are they going to do? They're not going to buy the fight. They're not going to go through all kind of rigmarole in order to get the fight, right? Other people say, hey, it also has a lot to do with a lot of pirating. People were stealing the fights and all of that. Okay, I got that. However, money talks, all that other stuff walks. The numbers are what the numbers are. Terence Crawford had an opportunity to sign with the PBC and not re-up with Top Rank, and he knew he had an opportunity to do that after he had already been on a failed pay-per-view with Top Rank. And now he also had they also had another pay-per-view which I don't believe was on the app, and that was Amir Khan versus Terence Crawford. My understanding is that did somewhere around 150,000 when there wasn't an app, right? So 150 where there isn't an app, 130 when there is an app. Okay, sounds consistent to me, but it also still sounds like $150,000. I mean, 150,000 pay-per-view buys. So when Errol Spence Jr. is telling him, look, man, no, you not getting, you know what I'm saying? Don't come with an attitude asking for, saying what you deserve when you really are getting what you pay. You're getting a cut. It doesn't matter your boxing skills. It doesn't matter the belts that you held and all that stuff. It matters how many people are actually going to buy your fight, right? Take, for example, Jake Paul. Jake Paul, I don't know what, Jake Paul and Logan Paul, whatever their names are, take them, for example. It doesn't, they're not even professional boxers. They don't have any legitimate belts. They don't have any accolades at all. However, the simple fact that there's a bunch of people out there that want to buy their fight mandates that they get paid a certain amount of money because their personality and their fan base are the ones that are coming in there to watch. And the simple fact of the matter is, if you're looking at going in the gate, if Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford fight, the majority of the fan base that's coming there is going to be Errol Spence Jr.'s. And I actually have a little bit of a scientific way to find that out, because on my channel, we got about 60, and thank you so much to everybody for getting me to 60,000 subs. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I put a poll out there and I said, who do you think is going to win the fight? Now, I know perfectly well that is going to fall very much along the fan line, right? Fans of Errol Spence Jr. are going to say him. Fans of Terence Crawford are going to say him. And it was significantly heavier for not sure who was going to win and Errol Spence. I think Errol Spence might have had 50. At the last I checked, it was like 40, 30, and 40, 30, and 20 undecided or whatever. But even within this channel, the heavier fan base came out to support Errol Spence Jr. on that poll, which is definitely going to fall along the fan base. And in fact, I actually believe that there's some fans of Errol Spence Jr. that said Terence Crawford, even though they are probably bigger fans of Errol Spence. Errol Spence has earned those pay-per-view buys. He's earned the respect to be the A-side as far as the money goes in that fight. And I'm telling you, if Terence Crawford does not negotiate something that is reasonable, you can put the fight not happening right on Terence Crawford and not on Errol Spence Jr. Because it's not fair to have double standards. If Errol Spence Jr. was going to fight Canelo Alvarez, right? Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant did 800,000 pay-per-view buys. He versus Danny Garcia or something like that, Danny Garcia might have done 350,000 pay-per-view buys, right? So that is roughly half. Now, some people are saying that that Canelo really didn't do the 800,000, that it was closer to 600,000, and I wouldn't doubt that. But regardless, roughly about half of it, right? Similarly, less than half between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. And Errol Spence is not going into a Canelo Alvarez fight asking and demanding that he get 50%. And it doesn't matter the number of belts that you have and all of that stuff. Lay that out with Logan Paul, man. So, if we want to see this fight, I would encourage Terence Crawford fans to talk to your boy and say, look, 30% or 40% of a larger percentage of a bigger sales is more money, right? And not have this thing where, oh yeah, I've got the belts in 3 divisions and all of that, and that means I deserve 50%. It's just not real, especially when you can say, when Errol can say, all right, man, I'll go fight whoever else I want to fight, and I will still, and that means I may make more money fighting somebody else than I make fighting Terence Crawford, who's a more difficult opponent, right? Because there's no guarantee that the Errol Spence Jr. Terence Crawford fight is going to blow up and do 1 million pay-per-view buys. That's an estimation, right? It may wind up, because Terence Crawford's only doing 130,000 pay-per-view buys, it may only wind up, say, what if it winds up at 450,000 pay-per-views, where Errol Spence Jr. usually gets the lion's share of his pay-per-view. He might actually be taking a literal pay cut to fight Terence Crawford if he gets 50-50. So I'm sorry, man. That stuff's out of the window with 130,000 pay-per-view buys, man. It's like, and anybody else, any of you dudes that say any different, man, get out of here. You're from Omaha. Ain't no way you're going to be bringing in 3 times as much money as somebody else, and you're going to get in 50% because they have more belts than you do. It's ridiculous. But anyway, much love in the chat. Hit the like button or dislike button if you don't like what I got to say. I understand that, man. We all be friends later on in time. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments section. Much love to everybody that likes the channel, subscribes to the channel. And with that, I'm out. Peace.